Good day everyone, welcome to Disciplines and Ideas in Social Science. So previously, we studied about the emergence and essence of social sciences, and also we discussed and differentiate the different body of knowledge under humanities, social science, and natural sciences. We have also discussed the different social science disciplines, and under these disciplines are the different branches which uses scientific method with different domains and subject of inquiry and methods. So today we will try to look at the dominant approaches or theories or ideas which use the scientific study of society. So these dominant approaches or theories offer various ways of looking at the society, and we're trying to explain the things that are happening in society. It will also serve as our guides or your guides, or serve as a framework in doing your research in social sciences. So the approaches or the dominant approaches that we will be discussing will be classified into three. So they can be classified as positivist social science, interpretive social science, and critical social science. Okay, but first we will discuss the three dominant approaches. But before that, let's have a recap of our previous lesson. Okay, so I'm going to show you questions, and then we're going to choose from the options based from the descriptions. So ready? Number 1. It is the body of knowledge that attempts to explain and describe human behavior in a society. Is it humanities, natural science, or social science? Okay, very good. So the answer here is social science. Number 2. The following are disciplines under social science except anthropology, arts, linguistics. Okay, very good. If your answer is arts. Number 3. Which of the following study earlier cultures by examining the material remains of previous societies? Archaeology, history, or sociology? Very good. It is archaeology. Number 4. If you want to know where and how groups of people live and what adaptations they usually undertake in order to subsist in certain regions of the earth, you must study economics, history, or geography. You're correct. It is geography. Last number. Who is the Filipino personality who is known for his pantayong pananaw in learning and teaching history? Is it Teodoro Agoncillo, Virgilio Enriquez, or Jesus Salazar? Very good. He is Jesus Salazar. Okay, so these are some images that is related to our next topic. So what do you think are the concepts relevant to our topic based from the images? Okay, so if you answer revolution in the first image, you are correct. If you have in your mind the word cooperation, you are correct. While in the third image, when you say symbols, so you are correct. So these images have something to do with our next topic, which is about the basic concepts and principles of the major social science theories such as the Structural-Functionalism, Marxism and Symbolic Interactionism. So at the end of this session, you will be able to analyze these basic concepts and principles under these major social science theories. So let us begin. So the first dominant approaches or theories under social science is structural functionalism. So it is one of the approaches under positivist social science. So as you can see from the picture, it shows the essence of the said approach or theories, which claim that society or parts of society have certain function or contribution to the operation of the whole system in general. So what is structural functionalism? So it is a social science approach or theories that sees society as a complex system whose parts work together to promote solidarity and stability. The main proponent of this theory is Emil Dorkheim. According to Emil Dorkheim, societies held together by social bonds. So there are shared values and norms to which most people in the group agreed. So they contribute to the bonds or to the internal stability. They work together towards a similar goals. So through Durkheim's analysis, he concluded that in order for societies to function successfully, so each individual or part of the society should work together in order to move forward. So, for example, in a certain society or in a certain country, people pay taxes to the government. So, the taxes paid by the people, it is used to fund the different projects and programs of the government, such as to fund the school's operation, which educates the members of the society, including the youth. So, for them to be able to prepare to to find jobs in the future and to contribute to the development or the progress of the economy. So, with this structure, from this example, we can see how each individual and social institution is working with the others to further move to a certain consensus or to a certain goals or aims, which is the stability and functionality. So, with this Durkheim, the theory of Durkheim, he concluded that when one of the institutional systems breakdowns or became dysfunctional, it will eventually affect all the other parts of the system and it weakens the functionality of the whole. So, just like from our example, if the government all of a sudden decided that it was not giving to use the tax or the money they collected from the tax, they will not use it to fund the schools, or they will corrupt the taxes. This would prevent the provision of quality education. Then eventually it will affect the economy because the people are not able to contribute to the economy because there are no people who will contribute to the success of the country, and it will affect down the whole country. So this is according to Emil Dorkheim. So the structural functionalism has different concepts. So the first concept is the social structure. So what is the meaning of social structure under structural functionalism? So one of the most important concepts under structural functionalism is social structure, which is coined or attributed to Alfred Radcliffe Brown. So he is a British sociologist. So according to him, society is systematically structured. So it can be similar to a biological organism. So he explained that social phenomenon could be constructed at the societal level. So which means that people were only temporal occupants of the social roles. People are very important in relation to their positions in the overall structure of social roles in society. So society has multifaceted scheme, so whose parts works mutually for the promotion of harmony and constancy. So people lives by social structures for certain social actions. So people live together and we are governed by social structures. For example, the different social structures are the family, the community, and even the different political institutions. Several customs give structure to our daily lives. On the other hand, so we have the different social structures. Some of the examples are the government, the religious organizations, so the different churches, the school or the educational system, and even media. So these are called social structures which give patterned social relations. So through these social structures, there are several customs created in our daily lives. So this is the results or effect of the operation of the society in general. Okay. So, while according to Robert Merton, so Robert Merton is an American sociologist. Okay, uh, he emphasized the importance of the manifest and the latent function or under the social functions and dysfunctions. So he explained to better understand the structural functionalism, individuals or parts of the society have manifest and latent function. So what is the difference between manifest and latent function? So manifest functions are the intended or the recognized consequences of any social pattern. So these are the manifest functions. So for example, the educational system or the school, the manifest function is to prepare the individual for a career by getting good grades for and then graduation and then finding job in the future. While latent functions are the unrecognized, or these are the unintended consequences of any social pattern. For example, the school, which is the main or the manifest function is to prepare individual to get a career in the future, while its latent function includes so as form of socialization, or students meet new people. Students can participate in different extracurricular activities, such as they can join clubs or they can attend uh, field trip and other activities, and they can even meet their loved ones in the school. So these are the differences between manifest function and latent function. While these functions, it's all about the undesirable consequences for the operation of the society. So that is the dysfunction. So it means that if you fail to achieve your manifest function, this function will occur. So for example, if the school failed to give proper education for students, students will not be graduated, or they cannot uh, find they cannot get a good job in the future. So that is the difference between manifest function, latent function, and dysfunctions. Okay, we will now proceed to the second uh, approaches or approach or theories under social science, which is Marxism. So what is Marxism? So Marxism, it is a social science theory or approach which is associated with conflict theory, or the view that society is divided into social classes which are always in conflict with one another. So it analyzes how society functions to serve the powerful class, and the disadvantage the others. So this situation causing conflict. So it views social order as being a product of coercion and power being exercised by the more powerful group to the disadvantaged group. So the main proponent of this theory are Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. So in this theory, so there are uh, social order is being viewed as a product of coercion. So, and power being exercised by the more powerful group. So they are the bourgeoisie. They overpower the disadvantaged group, which are the proletariat. So in this theory, we can see that society is being divided or fragmented into different groups. So these groups, they are competing for different resources, such as the social and economic resources. So if you have power, so the more power you have in your hands, so you have the most you are more influential or powerful, you can get political, economic, and social resources. So, if people are united, or if there is consensus, there will be consensus if people will be united with common interests. And this common interest usually in opposition with other groups. So in this social science theory, it says in order to have a solution to the class conflict is to challenge the status quo. So what is the present situation? So they will change it by encouraging social change through oppression, or by abolishing the social classes. So they viewed that having social classes in the society is the root cause of class oppression. Marxism is against the concept of capitalism, because capitalism promotes a class, having a class society. So Marxism advocates a classless society. So they aim for equality. So in capitalism, so if in a capitalist society, the ruling class, or they are the owner of the means of production, so usually they have the opportunity to use the resources in producing the services or the products. So they are called the bourgeoisie, or the owner of the means of the production, while the working class, or the proletariat, they only possess their own labor power, and this labor power, they usually sell this to the ruling class, which is the bourgeoisie, in the form of wage labor in order to survive. So we can see here the relations of productions between employer and employee relations. So there are division of technical labor, or division of labor, in the property relation. So the capitalist society promotes the ruling class. So these ideas and values are not accepted in the Marxist theory. So in order to abolish this kind of situation, we should need to employ various methods of social control. So how are we going to do this according to Marxism? So in order to challenge the status quo, or to have social change, they encourage the use of revolution, okay, and the development of the egalitarian communist society, or the equality among the people. So the state would own the means of production, and this whatever is being produced, it will be equally distributed to all the citizens. So it will be shared by all members of the society, and there will be no more social stratification or group of people in the society. Now we will proceed to the third social science approach, which is the symbolic interactionism. So what is symbolic interactionism? So let us define. Symbolic Interactionism. So it is a theoretical approach which believes that human action and interaction are understandable only through the exchange of meaningful communication or symbols. So the first concept about symbolic interactionism is symbols. So the main principles of symbolic interactionisms are human beings act toward things on the basis of meanings that things have for them. So they give meanings to things. These meanings arise out of social interaction. So the main reason for having meaning is through social interaction. So the social interaction is it will result from fitting together of individuals' lines of actions. So in this theory, people believe that symbols are often expressed, so it will serves as the means by which people associate meanings with their own interpretations or action and through interaction. Another concept in symbolic interactionism is society. So with this, symbolic interactionism distinguish the intrahuman or the lower animal and the human life. So in human life, collaboration is through cognitive and conscious, while in infrahuman life, cooperation is determined physiologically. So when we say infrahuman, human or infrahuman, they simply respond to their environment. So if there is certain stimulus, eventually infrahuman respond without thinking. So stimulus is equals to response. Whereas humans, while human life, they have the ability to process before giving response. So there is cognition. So if there is stimulus, they will not respond immediately, but they have to process through cognition or thinking critically. So that is how a human or infrahuman differentiated from a human life. Another concept under symbolic interactionism is the word self. So it refers to the conscious, contemplative personality of individual. So it is how a person imagine or how he thinks about who he is. So the development of oneself, this can be made through role taking. So you have to take the role of another person, and then you have to contemplate upon your own self. So according to Med, according to Med, there are 3 steps in the development of the self. The first one is the preparatory stage, which is the meaningless imitation. So imitation yung ginagawa. The second one is the play stage, or the actual playing of the roles. And the last stage is the game stage, which culminating stage of self-development, wherein an individual or the child uh, finally finds who he is, or who she really is. So the self consists of two parts, the I and the me. So the I refers to the spontaneous and unorganized inclination of the individual, while the me is the integrated other within the individual. Another important concept in symbolic interactionism is the mind, or the mental aspect of individuals. So through mind, uh, we materialize our ideas for communication. So whenever we are interacting, or we have interaction with other people, we use different symbols. So the mind have to process these symbols in order to give meaning. So the development of symbolic interactionism as a sociological perspective was associated with these people, or personalities. We have George Herbert Mead, who is the main proponent of this theory, Charles Cooley, and Herbert Plummer. Charles Cooley developed the social psychological concept of the looking glass self. So according to him, there are three main components of the looking glass self, and these are that: number one, we imagine how we must appear to others. Number two, we imagine the judgment of that appearance. And lastly, we develop ourselves through the judgments of others. According to Cooley, the mind is mental because the human mind is social. So as children, human beings begin to define themselves within the context of their socializations. So through socializations, the child learns that the symbol of his crying will elicit a response from his parents, not only when they are in need or of necessities, but also as a symbol to receive their attention. While George Herbert Mead describes self as taking the role of the other, or this is called as self is actualized. So through the process of interaction, we begin to develop our identity about who we are, as well as our empathy for others. It should be noted that symbolic interactionists advocate a particular methodology. So they see meaning as the fundamental component of the interaction of human and the society. Studying human and social interaction requires an understanding of that meaning. So in summary, to summarize the concepts that we have discussed, I have here a chart. So the first one, we learned that the structural functionalism sees society as a complex system whose parts work together to promote solidarity and stability. While Marxism, it aims to eliminate the class conflict through class struggle. So the main source of uh, in order to remove the in order to have a social order in the society, we use coercion to challenge the status quo and to remove or abolish the structure in the society or the social stratification. While symbolic interactionism, they believe that symbols helps us to understand how we view society, and through these symbols we can be able to communicate with each other. Okay, so these are the references that we use in this discussion. Thank you very much.